Hi, my name's Nariba Shepherd.
And I'm Justin Arnett Graham.
And this is Terms of Service.
Yes. Season 2 vibes.
Yes.
See, we never lost it. We never lost it. And I love that for us.
Yeah.
Nariba, how are you?
I'm doing pretty great. I feel a burp coming on, but I'm gonna ignore it.
Okay. With anything, it's best to just ignore it.
Yeah.
So it's
Mental
not gonna
health.
fester. It's
Just
not.
kidding.
It's not gonna manifest itself in a different way. But no, it's good to see you again.
It's good to see you as well.
We're back again with our friends at Blind Barber. And
we have a friend this time.
Guest.
Yes.
Like our first guest for season 2.
Who is not Max? Who's not a guest?
Yeah, Max is part of the crew.
He's part of
but
the
it
crew.
was wonderful to have him on the last episode.
Yes.
Angela.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
Great. Thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So, you and I know one another
Oh, yes.
from back in the day.
Oh, I did not know this.
Yeah,
Yes.
from back in the day at a multi-Michelin starred establishment
Yes.
that was in Lincoln Park and very internationally acclaimed. Not so much Chicago acclaimed, but internationally acclaimed. And yeah, I mean, that's just the basis of our
Good
origin
times.
story. Yeah, interesting times.
After work, good times.
Yes, after work, great times.
It's always better after work.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't it during it, but afterwards,
She
it
lit.
was it.
Many a Sauvignon Blanc.
Many.
Oh my God,
Many,
you do
many.
like a wine. You are a wine bee.
Yeah, I will take being a wine bee over a wino.
Yeah. Oh.
But also, no tea, no shade against those that do.
Yeah.
So that's fine. So, Miss Angela Diaz, as per tradition, what's your sign?
sign?
Scorpio.
Yes.
No, we better go ahead and read her down.
I exclaimed
Go
a lot
ahead. Go.
when we found this out right before we started recording because Scorpios get like
It's my month.
it's your season. We in Scorpio season now.
We're stubborn. We follow on our passions, and but the passionate part of it's probably a really good thing about being a Scorpio. But I also think that people think that we're manipulative or conniving, or we have some sort of like master plan. But I don't really think that I ever felt that way.
Let me
But I
tell
think-
you something about the 5-year-old.
Maybe as a kid.
Is it like that's what I'm saying? Like, in
Like,
your
I
pure
want that
form,
lollipop.
Yeah. Were you
How do I
like
get the
super,
lollipop?
like mischievous when you were younger?
I was definitely not the nicest sister.
Fair. Okay. All right.
Okay,
Yeah.
this isn't.
But we're best friends now. So
Yeah,
it's
that's what I'm
great.
saying. This is the example.
Like when it all worked out. So it's
We have seasons.
Yeah,
there we go. Yes.
it's just like trying to figure out how to exist in a world that is not structured around us existing in it yet. Like, for example, the other day, the 5-year-old got grounded in the morning. I was
I
asleep.
love that you always refer to her as
Oh
a
yeah.
5-year-old.
Oh yeah. She's gonna be 6 next month, so then she'll be the 6-year-old. But
Got
the
it.
small, she got grounded in the morning. I didn't know about that because I was asleep. But on the way home from school, the big one, 10-year-old, was like, Reba, she's grounded. She's grounded. She can't do fun things. So I was like, in my brain, I'm like, okay, she can't have a screen. That's like, I know that's a boundary. And so I said it to her before we got in the house. I was like, hey, kitty, you're grounded, which means you don't have screen time until your mom comes home and says otherwise. And she was like, okay. And then I knew as soon as I closed my eyes, she was going to go in her room and be on a screen. So her sister told me, and then I had to do the thing where I'm like, hey, kitty, I have to tell your mom that you didn't listen to this rule. And she's like, why? And it's literally, she did not understand what being grounded was, but was trying to manipulate the system and be like, oh, so being grounded means no fun. I was like, yeah, so that you learn not to do the thing that you did again.
I'm kind of here for the Scorpio lifestyle, actually. You know, it's just like, you know, like paving your own way and being
We definitely
like,
are fighters.
Yeah.
So-
She like will cry and look at her reflection while she's crying because she wants to understand how she's feeling.
It's fair. All right.
I'm terrified of her.
Okay.
A little bit. I love her, but she's scary.
Well, welcome, Angela.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yes. And so, I mean, we have so much to talk about. I want to start off with congratulations to you and your successes with your cookie, and I want to, you know, talk on that. But before we get to that, can you just enlighten us with a little bit of your background and, you know, how
About
the things
your
came to be?
business and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So my background. I was raised in Aurora, Illinois. Born
Hello,
in California. And I went to culinary school in New York, and then I went and I moved back to Chicago for a little bit. Then I moved to Cleveland, Ohio for a few years. Then I moved back to Chicago because I really like the smell of chocolate.
Yes.
Yes.
That's what drew me back.
Yeah.
And I've loved being here ever since. And my background, I'm Mexican American, both my parents, and I actually studied to be in culinary arts, not in baking and pastry. But I fell in love with baking and pastry when I was in school, and I was like, man, I already paid for culinary arts and I don't have money, so I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah.
And I'll figure it out later.
Right.
So then I worked in a few different restaurants in Chicago, a hotel, a catering company. Did a stunt like doing some pastry consulting at some point, and then I started my business while I was working somewhere else. And as soon as it started to get too much, I left the job and just went on my own. And
That's real.
Awesome. Yeah. What
I guess
prompted
that's
you
a
to
little
do
bit about
that?
me. I got the idea for your cookie when I was working at Trencherman. And
R.I.P.
yeah, R.I.P. sad.
Yes. Yes.
It was a lot of fun. It was
Listen.
some good times there, for sure. And that's kind of when that restaurant's when I actually really fell into baking and pastry and kind of started feeling more of my like what I like to do and like what flavor that I like to like lean towards and all that stuff. And the chef that I was working for, he really wanted a lot of dietary restriction, like kind of foods and like desserts. And I really admired that because it's really hard to find like really good desserts that are not just like sorbet or like, you know, just basic stuff. Or people get mad when someone comes into the restaurant, like I have a list of allergies or I have a list of things, and the chef's just like, get the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why does it matter that they have so many allergies? They're here to dine. They're here to enjoy. You know what I mean?
I do like
they're
that perspective because
they're
I'm
here.
always
I'm 50-50
I love to
on
say
it.
They're
no.
still a person,
I love
you
to
know what I
say
mean?
no. That's
I'm
and that's what I need to
50-50
hear.
on it. It's like if you have so many dietary restrictions that we literally can't offer you anything, then I think it's on the onus of the person, if they want the best experience that they could possibly have, to choose a place that will be able
do
to
due
fulfill
diligence.
that.
Yeah.
Fair.
And I think but I do agree with you because I was the person on whatever staff I was on who would be able to accommodate those dietary restrictions by like doing certain aspects of different dishes as vegan or vegetarian or like gluten-free so that we have the option. But if you have over 30 allergies, don't fucking expect to show up day of and be serviced.
They should
Send
definitely
an
call
email in
in.
advance. Call, do something. I'm
Don't
here
just
for your
walk
dietary restrictions.
Right.
Yeah.
But
And for a lot of like
Don't get
really
crazy.
basic ones, like simple off the top of your head, like gluten-free, nut-free, things like that.
Alliums.
Yeah, all of
you can
that.
do
Like
that.
it's very simple.
Don't get me started about nightshade though.
Oh my god.
Oh, that's a whole other one.
Yes,
I had a
yes.
chef that would literally gamble with allium allergy. He'd be like, "You think this is a real allergy?"
Also,
to
do you
find
want
out.
to find
Oh
out?
That's
my
literally
God.
what it was.
How's your insurance?
What are you talking about?
Do you think this is it? I'm like, I'm not getting involved with this one.
I was like, that could be one of the last things you do. But yeah, go on, Angela.
So I've always loved cookies. So growing up, I mean, I grew up in America. My parents and like my grandparents are Mexican, but like we ate both. We ate American food and Mexican food, and one of my favorite things is cookies. So I started creating more menu items and
Like a
having
female
options.
Cookie Monster?
Basically, yeah, we do.
Like, yeah.
Working on it.
Yeah.
Actually are. It's a little on the DL there, but
Sorry,
Stay
didn't
tuned,
mean to
guys.
Business in these streets. Also, she, her, they, them, pronouns. What pronouns are?
she, her.
Thank you. Okay, cool. We got like far into this without me doing a pronoun check. My bad.
No, it's- Go on.
So I created a triple chocolate chip cookie. That was always my favorite, and I discovered that triple chocolate chip when I was in culinary school, and I thought it was the best thing in the world. And I was like, "Ooh, 3 kinds of chocolate. That's really cool."
Yeah.
So I decided all my chocolate chip cookies were going to have 3 kinds of chocolate in it. So I decided to do cookies and milk. And so that was one of the things that I put on the menu, and it took off. Everyone really liked it. I didn't tell anyone in the kitchen for a couple of weeks that it was gluten-free while I was developing it. Gave it out for staff. Nobody could tell the difference. And that was so cool. And
Yeah.
that's kind of the test that I was trying to pass. And so I just kept like tinkering around with it, and finally put on the menu. The name comes from my silliness in the kitchen.
Yes.
Or just in general, like I don't have the best comebacks. So someone was like, "Oh, pass me an onion," like "You're an onion," or
That's
Yeah.
"You're a pan," or "You're a cookie." So they're like, "You're
That's
baking
real.
cookies," like "You're a cookie."
Hell yeah.
So it just came
That's
from
how I
that
heard
really
it
naturally.
in my brain. It's like, "You're a cookie." I'm like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Nice.
Yeah, I didn't hear it in like the nicest way. I heard it in just like, get off me. And I was like, I'm here for it.
Yeah, and then also the concept of making it a consumer packed good, a CPG product, was to be able to supply it to grocery stores and in a nationwide kind of way, so that way people can have access to a really good cookie. Growing up, we didn't go out to eat a lot. We went to Olive Garden, or we went to like
No shade, no
That
tea.
was,
I
like-
fucks with Olive Garden.
So like
That's
that was
delicious.
our nice restaurant to
Yes.
go out to. I didn't know what Michelin was growing up. I didn't know what James Beard. I didn't know anything.
Same.
I didn't know that there were chefs out there. And I didn't learn that until high school, and I was in culinary program and all that stuff, and I just liked food, and I was just like, okay, let's just put stuff together, and then they started teaching me more, and I was lucky that my instructor in high school went to the same culinary school that I went to, so he was an alum, and I got to learn a lot from him, and so I was really fortunate about that. But like we ate at home, or we got Portillo's was one of our
Portillo's.
and
Give me that cake shake.
so all of that was really great, and but it really made me remember that when we went grocery shopping, a lot of the ways that I found out about food or food products or ingredients was shopping,
Okay.
grocery shopping.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Is the grocery store one of your favorite places?
Yeah.
Okay. I just want to take a poll because I think at first I was like, yeah, anyone in food service, but I think it's more like children of immigrant parents, because we spend so much time, like the only places you're really allowed to go with them is like the grocery store and run errands and stuff. So I think that I got like subliminal message that the grocery store is my favorite place, and that's how I ended up in food. So I'm looking at like that link between the two to see if it's like
That's so interesting.
why like certain people end up in food service.
Yeah, a lot of people's background, sometimes we'd ask them, like the simplest question is like, oh, how did you get into the industry? And a lot of chefs will say, oh, I was cooking with my grandmother, or my mom showed me how to do this, or we've had family restaurants in the past. Like,
It's time for me to drop this story.
do it.
All right, so, there's just the longest explanation of just like, oh, how did you get started in the industry? But rarely do I ever get asked of why I'm in the industry. I remember this like it was fucking this morning. I was at Chili's. Chili's. Those Southwestern egg rolls. Stop it. Also, if anyone from Chili's corporate is listening, connect at termsofservice.media. Thank you so much.
I ordered Chili's in Florida, and they spelled my name Nireda. Continue your story.
How do you say that?
Nerida. Nerida. Yeah.
Narita. Okay. Yeah, Chili's don't do that. Anyhow, so there was this like, it was like putting on the show, but like I thought that he was like the coolest waiter ever. I was just like, I was like, what is this man's story? And he wasn't weird. He wasn't like overstepping any boundaries. He was just like super sincere and just like happy. Just as I've gone through, my time in the industry, I've realized that
it's
is
hard.
a big facade. But me being like, 13, 14 years old, I have never forgotten that dude.
No.
Ever. And I mean, his name might be like Chad or like Taylor or, nothing against people.
If you're listening,
if you're listening,
reach out.
Please reach out. But no, it's just like, I always thought of just like, how cool would it be to like have a job to where you interact with a whole bunch of different people. They take you as you are. I mean, you're making money. You get to be around all of this great food because, again, just me being a kid, being like, these Southwestern egg rolls fucking slap.
Yep.
So this is delicious, and I want to be a part of this all the time. And also, why did you bring me this strawberry lemonade in this big ass mug? This is dope as hell.
Yes.
I was like, what? I'm living my best
salty.
life right now. Yeah, I was like, this is amazing. I was like, what? I was like, this is perfect. So just the mention of a grocery store, I'm like, I wish I had that connection to a grocery store, but I remember just going with my mom, and it was very formulaic. And anytime I tried to sneak something in the cart, she's like, oh, that's cute. That's cute. That's cute.
We're just gonna put that back.
Right, but she's like, it would be dependent on her mood. She'd be like, all right. And that was it. So like, it was something that like you did as an errand. And I'm just like, oh, it's just another thing that you did. So that's a very unique perspective from both of
Listen,
you. I had no idea.
I'm about to wreck your mind.
Okay.
In Trinidad, I was not allowed to get Lucky Charms in the grocery store because my mom would do the conversion rate thing.
Oh.
And in Trinidad, so a box of Lucky Charms here is like, what, $4.50, $5? I don't know. I don't eat them right now.
This feels very like Arrested Development. It's just like, how much does a banana cost?
Or the Price is Right.
Yeah. I love the Price is Right. Listen, okay, anyway. So my mom, when we'd go to the grocery store and I'd be like, can I please have this thing? She would be like, Nariba, $36 for a box of Lucky Charms. It's like 110%. Like,
you were spot on. It's $4.99.
Ooh, okay.
You just won.
So like $6 change. Okay, I won Price is Right at my friend's baby shower because of ordering stuff and looking at product menus and shit all the time. I knew how much it would cost to supply a baby with goods for a month.
They need to get you on that show.
Are they still doing it? Is it Drew
no
Carey
idea.
still?
No, I feel like there's they're still doing
It's Drew
it.
Carey, though. It's not the other dude.
No,
He died, right?
I don't know.
Sad.
No? He just left the show?
What show?
The
Price is Right.
Oh, yeah, I think we just left the show.
Oh,
Oh.
dang. I like that other dude. No shade, no tea, Drew Carey, but like, I used to. Bob Barker!
Barker, that's right. He had a cameo in Happy Gilmore, and it's just like, he was like fighting Adam Sandler, I
Yes.
think? I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah, just like Bob, or some shit like that.
And
but
just like that, we fell into a kitchen black hole.
yeah. And we're back.
And we're back.
And we're back. So yeah, I am really interested in that, like CPG and also like grocery store connection. But as you've been building out your business and your brand, just as a woman-owned entity, how's that been?
Hard.
Yeah.
Hard, period.
You're like, next?
That's it. Yeah, next question. Let's get
You're like, hard, difficult, all that. Yeah.
reach out if you want to talk.
Yeah. Well, we got some time, so.
Yeah. No. Well, I think in general, in the industry, it was hard being a woman in general. I definitely never really made an excuse for it. Like, I'm a woman, so like, woe is me, and I must be treated a certain different way. And I think that's like, I think there's so much like, how do you say it?
Trauma.
Yeah, and also it's you like, so if you're like a man in the industry and you have a complaint about something that you're not getting treated properly or something's happening, the perspective is, oh, okay, let's do something about it most of the time. And then and I'm sorry if that never was the case for anyone, but if a woman were to say something like, hey, I'm not the same complaint, the same anything, in the same tone, the same voice, nah.
Yeah.
You're just, being a crybaby, you're being a woman, you're being this, and
You're being emotional.
It's messed up. And so I really thought the whole time that I really wanted to be in restaurants and in this industry. And I thought the only way to do it was in kitchens and in restaurants and in bars. And going back to the whole grocery store thing is that, like, I saw these, like, chefs on these products and, like, all these things in the grocery stores. And all our chef friends and things like that would always say, well, they're just selling out. Like, this is a sellout. So, like, all these negative implications of doing their thing and being able to make a better life for themselves or, go after what they dream about is seen as a sellout. You must work hard. You must burn out. You must, you must come to work hungover and you must be this person.
Yeah.
And, far be it for you to, make a good living or to, aspire for more than just the restaurant, because the industry is not just restaurants.
Exactly.
And I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm gonna go for what I've always wanted. And I didn't really realize that. I was like, man, I want everyone to be able to eat these cookies wherever they are. And I can't do that if I'm in a restaurant, because no 10-year-old little girl is gonna be like, Mom, let's go to your cookies restaurant in Chicago. They're gonna be like, let's go get your cookie at Jewel Osco, or you know what I mean, let's go to or whatever grocery store is near me and grab it. And so, like, and they're baking cookies and they're making memories, and I think that's what food is, and that's what it should be. And to me, it's not just, I don't know.
You got Justin right
Take
in
the
his
ego
tender.
out of it.
Oh, I know. No, and
Right in his
it's just
tender.
like it just really, it's so fulfilling and inspiring to hear that, because it's, I mean, maybe it's, the Scorpio energy of just like paving your own way within this industry, and also going after what is satisfactory to you.
Yeah.
And
And
that
not
is-
looking at everybody else.
Right.
And that's the
especially
hardest
with
thing.
the brigade system, which
Yeah,
you and I
no.
have worked together in.
Yeah.
It's like
I remember crying in the back kitchen because of something, and I can go into that later.
and please do, but also it's like it's the way that you've navigated, what you're doing now. It also sounds therapeutic.
It is, and I think, I don't know, like I'm trying to go back to your original question about like being a woman in the industry, and I feel like it's I think the biggest thing that I've had a hard time with, and I don't know if this is a woman thing or not, but the discussion of money and like having that knowledge and being able to talk and negotiate with having clients, vendors, all of that stuff. I don't know if it was like, not having, because my grandparents or my parents didn't really know that about that kind of stuff. So it was not something we discussed at home, but I don't know if that is a natural thing or not.
It's literally because we were socialized not to ask questions, not to have a presence, and not to be heard.
Yeah.
And they created all of these
Commodities.
rules. Yeah. They created all these rules and boundaries in the human resources department that are not for people. It's just for the companies and the entities in charge of it. And we don't learn to talk about money because they've made it that way through these actual bylaws within the company. The system. And then and men will do it, but also female-bodied people who have been socialized as female-bodied people, we are less likely to ask a question that would be perceived as against a given rule, whereas men are praised for doing that.
Yep.
So we would also never dare to ask a follow-up question about why are you telling me this job is this amount of money, but if I go online and look at how much you're offering for it, it's more.
Yeah, and it's also like when I stand behind my product and what I'm doing, when I when you talk to people who are either purchasing your product or making negotiations with people, I tend to wonder okay, is it okay to ask for this? And that thought comes in my head am I charging too much? Am I charging enough? And it's just no, and I had to fight that thought and say no, F that. I want to this is how much it costs to make it. This is how much it costs to pay me, to pay the employees, and to be able to build a community, a team of people who want the same thing, a livable wage, of quality of life, and it's a simple thing. But for some reason, to go to someone and say, here, my cookie costs this.
The sticker price is shocking for them.
It's shocking.
Every time.
And it's not even just even before the pandemic, it would still be shocking to them. But it's just and then now with the pandemic, everything's gone up. And so it's not just, female-owned businesses that are taking the hit. It's also male-owned businesses and things like that. But I noticed a difference in how you negotiate and how you talk money. It's so different. It's so different.
But it also goes back to just the basis of people who are not in the industry having to interact with it in any way greater than an exchange of goods, in a restaurant setting. They don't understand how food cost works, how labor cost works, how having overhead allows for cheaper things.
In learning it
exactly.
Either. So it's that very significant disconnect to where it's just it can't cost this much. Nothing pisses me off more than when someone is just it can't cost that, or it shouldn't cost that, or there's other cheaper options. I was just yes, there's always going to be other cheaper options because the cheapest option is fucking free.
And so I took it as an
conversations too.
I took recently planning a menu as an opportunity to.
And exposure is not currency.
Yes, as we talked about in our last episode. But with this.
Oh, that's
yeah.
I've had those talks too.
Yeah, it's just I'll I'll put you on, or
Yeah.
it's just like, no, I'm putting myself on. And to your point, building a community, it's just like,
And that's why it's important to explain to people why things cost the amount that they do, as not only a form of transparency, but so that they understand that the money that they're spending, they will receive in goods. And there's an equivalent to that. And if someone theoretically is charging you more money for something, they are doing it because they know that what they're going to give you is exceptional. And so you're like, people don't like to hear, well, I can do whatever you want. It's based on cost, because customers don't want to be reminded that you're working.
not at all.
You know,
Not at all.
they don't want to have to think about the complexity of an exchange.
Well, I think of a double stuffed Oreo. No one wants to pay extra for a double stuffed Oreo, but I was just like, my dude, or do
The cream.
it's just
The cream is the best part.
It's double.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not saying that it's double the labor, but it's double the ingredients. It's double the goods. And I mean, when I was younger, I thought it was double the fun, but it's whatever it is. Since I'm an adult.
I like a double stuff.
I mean, I haven't had one. in
Also,
forever.
did you bring cookies today?
I did.
I didn't get a cookie.
No, we're gonna.
Oh, no.
We're gonna get some.
We gotta fix this.
Yeah.
'Cause
So
I
it
was
looks
like, y'all
it's
out
being-
here talking
it
about
looks like it's being
cookies.
fixed right
Thank
now.
you,
Yeah.
Matt.
See him
Thank
walking
you.
over there,
Thank
grabbing
But
the
yeah,
cookies.
so what we were talking about was specifically women learning to equal rights
yeah,
with
and
men.
you're
in
not only
home.
learning, you're learning it on the job.
Yeah,
You're not learning it
and you're teaching
in
yourself.
you're teaching yourself. You don't know what's okay and not okay to ask other people that are also running their own thing, because it's a weird conversation to have. You know what I mean?
What you got over there?
Which one do you have?
I don't know.
One box is vegan and one box is with butter, eggs, and all that good stuff. Everything is gluten-free and nut-free.
Okay, well, this is delicious.
I think there's apples in this one.
Yeah, you got the apple cider oatmeal cookie.
Yes,
That's
it
our
definitely was
seasonal
an oatmeal
cookie.
cookie. Yeah. Mhm.
That one's the oatmeal blueberry, probably.
Oatmeal blueberry. Okay. I'll do oatmeal
I
blueberry.
can't tell which
You want
one.
switch?
Yeah, it's just a little
So,
bit.
we'll be back to regularly scheduled programming in one quick moment.
Dun, 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 dun.
But here.
I wanted to try that one.
Sorry. Well, thank you. We love
Welcome.
treats and we love goods, and this is
Oh wow,
delicious.
Which one is that one?
the
When he was
blueberry
eating?
one.
Oh yeah, that one's like a blueberry muffin and a cookie.
The crunch,
Thank you.
delightful.
Sorry that I'm so quiet. I'm chewing.
Oh, it's
So,
fine.
Well, thank you.
We all speak Justin Fulham food language.
I'm gonna go ahead and wash this down with some delicious Athletic Brewing Run Wild. Thank you so much to our friends at Athletic Brewing out in Connecticut. We appreciate you.
Upside
and,
Down.
It tastes delicious with these cookies.
I was gonna say, Upside Down pairs very, very well with You're a Cookie. Cookies.
I love the intensity. Do it again.
You're a Cookie.
I love how you did that with like your mouth half
Can I
full.
hire you as our spokesperson?
You don't even need to hire me. I just like talking about things that I like.
Yeah.
So we down.
You know what? There we go. So we touched upon your experience to where you are now.
Yeah.
I'd also like to really dive in a bit more about the community building aspect of what you're looking to achieve and what you have achieved so far.
Yeah. I don't know how to answer that.
Answer it however you want.
Okay. So I started Your Cookie with a ton of aspirations to create, scholarship programs in the future and to create, and eventually be able to offer our product at a lower rate too, so that way people in various communities and various economic levels can afford our cookies in the future. And that's that's year plans. Like it takes a lot of work to build up our home first and then grow into the community. As far as what we're doing now, I definitely like to work with as many people as possible to I guess support other companies and collaborate and help them out and support them.
Because a lot of brand collaboration is because in the before times, it was always considered a luxury, but brand collaboration and brand unity is now a point of survival.
Yeah, and I think that what's very interesting is that a lot of people see the brand collaborations as they're doing something, and it's very showy versus, hey, we're doing this together so we can both make a living, and we're both support each other, and we're going to talk business and create that community between our businesses because we are supporting each other, not competing against each other.
Right.
So it's a healthy form of
of
competition. You know what I mean? Hey, I like what you're doing. Let's talk, or let's do this. And that's more of what I want to do with your cookie too. Also, as far as community too goes, there is a lot of people that helped your cookie, and we wouldn't have been where we are right now, and I kind of feel like we're back in startup mode all over again because I was working in a basement for a while. A lot of people don't know that about my business. So for the first 2 years of the business, we were working in the basement of my boyfriend's restaurant making cookies. We're doing our shared kitchen license out of there and doing all of that, and it was very, very hard. And a lot of people gave us their time, gave us equipment, or helped us in any way whatsoever. And I think that's
awesome.
It's so amazing, and I am doing my best to pay it forward. And with other companies too, if I have time in the kitchen, a space in the kitchen for someone to come in and do their thing on off hours or whatever, it doesn't have to always be so complicated. Right. And I think that sometimes when we go into our businesses, we think, okay, we need this really structurized, we need to have a plan, or we need to do it a certain way. You don't need to always do it a certain way. You just need to do what's right or what feels good.
Yes.
And build that community out and let the rest of it flow. It'll all just fall into place. It'll all be great. And that's, I think that in the business mindset, a lot of people in the business world are trained to not think like that. They're trained to, what's the profit and loss? What am I getting out of you being in my kitchen?
Well, because you become a line item.
Yeah, it should be
or
more
a liability.
Line item or a liability.
Yeah, so it's
or more so a liability.
So instead of thinking that way, say, okay, cool. I do have space in here. Let's do something. And I feel like having that openness and that kind of that hey, I want to do something for you, not expecting something in return, but it just happens naturally, and you don't have to expect it, or maybe not even happen. You know what I mean? It's just be a good person.
Well, yeah, and a lot of that has to do with, there's a term that I believe is just, it should just be an androgynous term, but the term is king of everything, right? So you feel as if anything that you have any sort of oversight of, you need to be in control of.
Superior leader of everything.
Sounds so intense.
Right. Exactly. But there's a multitude of issues with that mentality. But the thing that comes to mind for me very specifically is when you have a king mentality, you're making decisions, as I have talked about in the past, from seemingly an ivory tower, because the effects of your decision never actually reach you.
No.
And not only that, but yes, you'll be very successful. You'll have lots of money in that mindset, and you'll be at the top of your game. You might be in the top Fortune 500 companies, and you might become this really big person. But are you happy?
Right.
Are your employees happy?
Right. Because they may be
You
happy.
have- yeah,
They're
you have
probably
one life.
real happy, actually.
Like,
but
you're not
yeah.
a machine.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and it's like, I think conversations like this, all conversations like this are extremely important, but this one specifically should always be looked at as a reminder of the status quo isn't good enough, and there is room to create your identity within an industry that you're passionate about. I mean,
Yeah.
I never want to be a restaurant manager. That is something that is not interesting to me ever at all. And that's nothing against those that are. My biggest thing is that I want to be able to be a resource to an industry that has provided me with so many amazing opportunities, has connected me to so many amazing people, obviously. You and I met working under the same roof together, and I think it's a discredit to the industry at large to feel like there is just one secular path every time. Every time it's like, this
Or
is
one
this is what you're doing.
mentality, like
Right.
one way of thinking when you're working, and that's it.
I
Yeah.
think like what you were describing earlier when you were talking about like certain chefs coming off as like a sellout or sellouts, that's the way I felt a little bit when I did Guys Grocery Games, because I was
I
poor.
completely forgot about that.
I was poor and I wanted a couch. And allegedly, if you win, they
You got a
give you
couch?
20 grand.
Okay,
So you
well,
could buy a couch.
You
but
can
they
buy a
didn't-
lot of couches.
But they didn't want that.
She
to
wants
be
that
like what I said.
20,000
For that $20,000.
I literally, when they were like, "What would you do with the money if you won?" I was like, "I would buy a couch, not
That's
use
it.
it all to buy the couch, but I just like desperately needed a couch because we had like 2 lawn chairs and a chaise lounge that I was watching, air quotation marks, for someone who is out of the country. But I moved with it from Vermont to Chicago. I was like, you're never getting that thing back. Like, unless you're picking it up here. I don't know what to tell you.
Like,
But
It's gone.
I told my bosses about it because I needed time off, and they were like, "Oh, you gonna be a TV chef, blah blah blah." And I was like, you know what? Fuck
I'm
around,
liking
find
this
out. Maybe.
impersonation
Right?
that you're doing right now. like I wasn't expecting it, but I mean,
That's
yeah.
the
That's what you feel, though. That's what
Yeah.
you end up getting in
It's like,
return
oh,
for
you're
that.
just
Very,
like,
ho
gonna do that
hum.
thing. Oh, that's the Sudafed drying out the congestion. It gives me that deep man voice
yeah.
sometimes.
Got it.
You know.
Got it. Okay.
COVID
cool.
free, but sinus infection positive.
You should hit up a couple of jazz clubs.
Oh my god.
With that
go.
voice.
You should have heard me like 3 weeks ago when I lost my voice. My roommate was like, how come when you lose your voice, you sound like a dainty lady? And when I lose my voice, I sound like an 80-year-old man. I was like, well, you smoke 100 more cigarettes than I do currently. So.
Also, that reminded me of that scene in Borat when he was referencing his wife. Like, you know, her voice get deep, get deep, like Borat. You know, but yeah, those.
You're murdering me.
Yeah, I was like,
You're murdering me.
Nalita was just off mic. But,
God.
yeah, it's,
Sorry.
sorry, I had to say it. It's how I felt. But hi, Angela.
Hi, Justin.
It's like, yeah, we're not selling out. We just like literally we're trying to make a living.
Yeah.
Literally.
Literally making a living, but then also at the same time trying to build an equitable future.
And change, like put that
Yeah.
change in.
Right. But
You know?
but the action of building an equitable future is like, I mean, it's conducive into like that overall action.
Yeah.
You know, being like, I can finally do this. I've talked about it before, to where it's like someone in the industry that we know or don't know, or just like connected on social. There's like, we just bought a house. I was like, how the fuck do you do that? How did you buy a house? How did you buy a house? Shit, I'm trying to buy some property, and like all of that in general freaks me out. And not the aspect of the action, but being like coming to terms of service, but coming to terms with that, like, this industry can provide more, and us are worth so much more than what the industry wants to package us with.
And going off of what you just said about the whole house thing and everything, what people also don't know, that I think the only person that knows about this is my boyfriend, but I am willing to share because I think this is so important that people know about, because it's a scary thought when you go into this industry and you think that you're making enough money, but you really aren't. You're not. And I was an executive pastry chef. I was trying to get an apartment by myself. I had normal school loans. I think I owe like $20,000 now to my school. That's not a lot of money.
No.
And that's not a lot of pay in a month, right? I didn't have a car. I took the bus. I took, Uber when I was running late to work or whatever.
Yeah.
I'm living normal Chicago life, right? And my apartment was a really bad apartment. It was basement level, like really crappy, like studio kind of apartment with like shitty floors, and I wanted to get out of it so fast. But I only went grocery shopping, and sometimes every now and then grabbed a coffee, and sometimes every now and then went to go eat. And I think once a month for a few months, it was a rough period during the winter, I still had to go to a payday loan.
Yep. Same.
Payday loan. I've never, and I felt so embarrassed doing it, and anyone is listening, I don't want you to feel embarrassed, because it is real. Like, this shit needs to change.
Yeah.
Like, you should not be in an executive role or in a management role or even in a server or anything and have such a simple life and not even be able to afford it. You can't afford that.
I was using the apps. Like,
how come you can't afford it?
The online apps that like gauge how much money you're making at work, and then you can like borrow up to like a certain amount of money, and then when you get paid, they immediately like deduct it from your account. And like, I was making 65 plus a year, and I still needed to do that because of like traveling to and from work. That wasn't included in it. Paying my phone bill and shit, which I was basically available 24/7 to these people all the time. And it's like things that your job should be paying for and accommodating you for. You are overexploiting yourself and catching your breath like every 5 seconds for someone who doesn't give a shit about like you.
Yeah.
Like on a person level.
Yeah. And since we are sharing.
Yeah, share away, Justin.
Yeah, this was forever ago. But I mean, similar circumstance, Angela, to where I did not know where anything was coming from. That's because Nariba and Angela, it's back of house. And so like front of house, you get like this weird sense of like comfortability. You're just like, oh yeah, like it's all gonna be like this, and like you get like cash, and you're just like, oh shit, like I'm popping right now. But the fact of the matter is, it's just like if you don't manage it, if you don't plan for it, it becomes a massive issue. And so when I first started getting in the industry back in my time in Columbus, Ohio, I didn't know how to navigate that, and so I didn't know how to like schedule like payments, and I'm just a kid, figuring shit out. And so I did one payday loan, and that shit fucked me up for like months because it just kept coming out of my like account and like bullshit. And those are realities.
Those are realities,
Yeah.
and I think more people need to talk about those things
Yeah.
because, like, it makes no sense for anyone to have to go through that. If you are, a hard worker, you have a great work ethic, you coming in, you're doing your job, you're providing a service. There's no reason. Like, I don't think that anyone in any field, whether it's industry or not, should have to go through that. That's
Right. Well, because
ugh.
my dad has always told me, he's like, there are things that you do because, like, you're passionate about them, but there are things that you have to do to where, like, you simply don't take any shit.
Yeah.
So it's like compensation is people's appreciation of your time. So it's just like, he's like, hold on to that. And it's just like, fight for that. So when we do shit like this, when, like, we're doing all of these, like, projects, it's always conversations of being like, yo, we have to figure this out because it's like, these are people. It's not a wire, it's not a check, it's like, it's people.
The world we live in is people.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
we work for other people.
I don't know about y'all, but I'm
with
not a
people.
people. I'm
my
not a
own.
people.
Are you a person?
Maybe.
Okay.
But I'm not a people.
She's a magical creature.
Okay, I'm just saying, she is an absolute magical
She's a
creature.
her. She is me.
Okay, you're like, it me.
It me.
And yeah, I really like it. I'm just gonna keep it real. It's aggravating to me to where, like, I even feel like I have to mention the fact that the work that you're doing, the brand that you're building, and just the overall vision should be celebrated. But I do want to mention that because unless you're at a certain caliber, women are so overlooked in this industry.
Or if you've never won a Michelin star, or if you've never won awards, or
Right.
been recognized, or worked in any Michelin star
Or
restaurant.
even if you have done all of those things, it
Right.
still doesn't matter.
it still doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, like, it's just... Ugh.
Yep.
That's all I got.
Exactly.
Wow.
Man.
It just, yeah, the more conversations we have just about the industry at large, it just makes me want to scream from the fucking rooftops of, like, do better. But I don't want to scream do better without facilitating conversations that can prompt actual and equitable change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So, Angela, within all of the work that you're doing and your experience, I mean, what would you like to see?
Can you be more specific? What do you
I
mean?
mean, what would you
in-
like to see in the industry in regards to, just the woman's experience within the hospitality spaces?
Like, what would be step one change for you?
Yeah.
I think that the step one change in, like, their industry would be being able to speak up without having this reserved feeling that you can't.
Yeah.
I think that
could
should-
lose your job for it.
I think that a lot of management and a lot of companies that exist now over generation and generation of passing that business down, they still work in these old habits. They need to change that and be able to not see it as, oh, she's a woman, she's just complaining. You see it as, let's listen to what they're actually saying,
Yeah.
and let's make these changes, not just because we're making changes just for her, but because this is a real problem. Let's do something about it and think, what if it was a man saying this thing? What if it was that?
Well, I don't even want
Like-
that part. I want it to be like, if a person is saying something, it is meaningful.
Yes, exactly. No matter who you are, it should be
Period.com.
person. You're a human being. You flesh and blood. I have an issue, or I want to speak up. Like, listen. I think that's a big change that needs to happen. And I think if we
So not only
did that
hear,
at that
but
root,
listen.
everywhere. Yeah, like it's just hear them out and actually do something about it. Don't just listen to them and then find a way to fire them.
Listen, you know who's doing that? We are at Healthy Poor.
That is right.
There are people out there that's like trying to do that thing.
That's amazing.
And I'm allegedly one of them now. So
You have always been one of them, but you know, now you have an additional feather to wear in your hat. So
Yeah.
there's
plumage.
that. With that,
Mm-hmm.
we've touched on a lot. Angela, you're wonderful, and it's so great to see you. And also, thank you for being so open and, you know, just willing with us. How was your time?
It was great. I'm hoping that I help other people kind of feel that they're not alone especially when they're out there doing their thing or, you know, working for someone or working somewhere else, that like, you know, like when you have conversations with people, even your manager or in your management and whatever, just remember that they're a human being. They're just like you. So why just say it? Just say it. Like, like nothing bad is going to happen. The worst is going to happen is you might lose your job or you might, you know, something like that.
Well,
but
that's the thing.
that's a fear motivated thing. And we got to get rid of that because that's not what should happen. And it should be that we, you know, can have these conversations, and it's just, we got to get over the fear driven way of thinking when we're at jobs.
At work,
and it's a scary thing to
if you're
overcome.
afraid of your managers and your boss, you probably shouldn't be working
exactly
there.
Yeah. And also it goes the other way around too. The management should also create an environment where their employees feel safe to come to them and to talk and be real, not, oh, I'm going to talk in a different voice to my manager and, you know, ask for these things and hope for the best, you know what I mean? And you just be able to talk like your normal person voice.
Yeah, it shouldn't have to be that
your
way.
natural way
No,
without fear.
Absolutely. So, how do the people find you?
The what?
How do people find you? Not you physically, but
Your
just,
cookie?
yeah, you know, your brand and everything that you're up to.
I mean, well, you can order cookies online. We're on e-commerce based business, also wholesale. So we supply to a few different stores in Chicago, as well as some. We also wholesale dough to a couple of restaurants and a couple of like bakeries and things like that. So
Awesome.
you can find us online and kind of find out where we're at.
Drop the website.
And opening up our storefront in November.
Yay, congratulations.
Yeah, finally.
Congratulations. Amazing.
The runaround, but it's finally happening. We're only gonna be open on weekends because during the week we are a whole company, so our main focus is, you know, grocery stores really being able to spread the joy in a massive wave, and being able to have a location where people can still have their freshly baked cookies, coffee, and ice cream sandwiches. So
Amazing. And what's the website?
www.yourcookie.com.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I felt like I had to have that voice.
Yeah, and then Instagram.
You're a cookie. Don't forget the E.
Sweet. Amazing.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
Thank you so much.
No, thank
Nariba.
you guys. This is really refreshing and really enlightening to have this conversation. So
Yeah.
it's great.
Thank you. Nariba.
Yeah.
Wasabi.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling a little like glazed,
Okay.
like a donut a little bit.
Okay.
But I think that we spoke on so many things that segue into our like promo.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you think that it's like the right time to do it?
This is the right time. And so I would love to highlight our friends at Healthy Pour. And with that, if you're interested in learning more about mental health and well-being in the hospitality, food, and drink industries, the Healthy Pour Institute offers affordable courses and certifications for individuals and groups to help foster personal and professional development so we can all put the work in to make this industry safer. And for our listeners, the Healthy Poor Institute is offering 50% off individual classes or certification with the code Terms of Service, no spaces, for the entirety of season 2. So in whatever regard that you're thinking of just
Making a change.
diving deeper in this industry while prompting equitable change.
Yeah.
We want to be a platform to help facilitate that.
Yes.
And thank you so very much to our lovely, lovely, lovely friend, Laura Louise Green. Also, thank you again to Blind Barber for hosting this conversation, Athletic Brewing for supplying the vibes, and also our producer, Max. Hi, Max.
Max.
And in closing, I am Justin Arnett Graham, and you can find me on Instagram at What's Bico. And also, don't forget, Blind Barber discount TOS 20 is in full effect until December 4th. So stay golden. You're worth it.
And once again, it's your girl, me, Nariba. You can find me at Rebaru on Instagram, REBARU. But also don't forget about our Terms of Service Instagram page. It needs some love as well. So, have a good one. See you in 2 weeks.
Peace.